Hey everyone, before we dive in, here's something really cool. You're listening to an episode created almost entirely by AI. From the script to the voice, this is part of the AI Takeover series by Blockchain DXB, where we explore what's possible when humans hand over the mic to machines. There's little to no human involvement, and that's what makes this episode so powerful. Welcome to the future of content creation. Let's get into it. This episode is powered by Amana, the region's first and fastest-growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. Whether you're looking to invest in U.S. stocks like Apple or Tesla, or MENA giants like Adinoc or Salik, Amana puts the financial market at your fingertips. You also get access to gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, and commodities. With over 375 assets to choose from, they've got the largest crypto selection in the region. And listen, guys, if you want to build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day and want to automate your investing, just set your monthly budget, choose your preferred categories, and let Amana do the rest. No fees, no lockups, and 100% customizable. Even better, funding your account is frictionless, and funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even your crypto wallet. No friction, no hassle. And if you get stuck, Amana offers 24/6 real human customer support and personalized sales assistance. Because you're part of the Blockchain DXB community, you get an exclusive offer. Register with the code BlockchainDXB and make at least one trade to receive a $100 trading bonus credited to your account the following month. So what are you waiting for? Download the Amana app now. The link and code are in the show notes. Next up, Blockchain DXB is proud to be the official media partner for one of the biggest blockchain events of the year, the Blockchain Futurist Conference. For the first time ever, North America's leading crypto event is heading to the United States, taking place at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. Alongside it is ETH Women, happening simultaneously. Expect multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, tech demos, metaverse experiences, and more, all under one roof. It's where the smartest minds in blockchain, crypto, and AI will converge. Get 25% off tickets by using the code DXB25. And yes, I'll be there with exclusive live coverage, behind-the-scenes interviews, and spotlight features on groundbreaking projects. Mark your calendars, November 5th and 6th, 2025. Visit futuristconference.com and use code DXB25. Link is in the show notes. Next up, Blockchain DXB has two more interesting partnership news to announce. First up with Future Blockchain Summit and Fintech Surge 2025. Blockchain DXB is an official media partner of Future Blockchain Summit and Fintech Surge 2025. Future Blockchain Summit is one of the biggest and oldest blockchain summit taking place in Dubai, going back to almost a decade, 2017 to be precise. The event takes place between October 12th to 15th at Dubai Harbour. This is where blockchain meets fintech to redefine the future of finance. 250 plus world-class speakers, 1,200 plus investors, live demos, product launches, and the exclusive invite-only GITEX Digital Assets Forum, all under one roof. From Web3 pioneers to fintech leaders shaping payments, banking, insurtech, AI, and DeFi, this event brings the entire ecosystem together. Startups, this is your launchpad. Get in front of top VCs, accelerators, and industry leaders. For blockchain and fintech companies, this is where connections turn into partnerships and dreams turn into exits. Register today at futureblockchainsummit.com. Don't just watch the future unfold, own your space in it. Remember, Future Blockchain Summit and Fintech Surge 2025. The registration link is in the show notes below, and see you at Dubai Harbour. Second partnership news kicking off from today is with the leading Bitcoin event organizers on this planet. And this year, Bitcoin Asia is taking things to another level. Bitcoin Asia are hosting a massive gathering this August in Hong Kong, and Blockchain DXB is proud to be an official media partner of Bitcoin Asia 2025. Taking place this August in Hong Kong, Bitcoin Asia is the region's premier Bitcoin gathering, where builders, investors, and innovators meet. It's really an honor for Blockchain DXB to be associated with Bitcoin Asia. Now at this event, expect powerful keynotes, bold conversations, and a headlining session with none other than Eric Trump. He will be sharing his vision for Bitcoin's long-term potential, its role in global finance, and Asia's massive impact on adoption, and a lot more. So listen up, guys. From infrastructure to regulation, privacy tools to lightning development, Bitcoin Asia connects global Bitcoin communities and drives innovation across cultures and markets. And as part of this partnership, you can register for the Bitcoin Asia using the code DXB. All the detail are in the show notes below. If Bitcoin's in your blood, this is your event. So, register today at asia.btc and don't forget to use code DXB for 10% off your tickets. Bitcoin Asia 2025, Hong Kong is calling. Be part of the future of Bitcoin. Next up, Advanced Media is the largest distributor of professional video, photography, cinema, and broadcast accessories in the Middle East. They represent over 100 major brands, including DJI, Hasselblad, Red, and Rode. The mic I'm using to record this? Sponsored by Advanced Media. But what really sets them apart is their commitment to purpose. People, planet, and prosperity. That's not just branding, it's their actual business model. They've partnered with SAE Institute in Dubai to offer scholarships to students pursuing a bachelor's degree in filmmaking, each worth AED 50,000. They also run regular workshops, training programs, and tech showcases across the region. For more info, visit amt.t, that's amt.tv. Finally, let's talk about something every crypto investor should take seriously: security. And that's where Ledger comes in. Ledger is one of the most trusted names in crypto security. Their hardware wallets, like the Nano S Plus and Nano X, keep your assets safe by storing your private keys offline. That means you're protected against hacks, malware, and phishing attempts that can compromise online wallets. The company is headquartered in Paris and is constantly innovating. Their team works with world-class security researchers and regularly tests their own products for vulnerabilities. It's why Ledger wallets are used by millions around the world. Using a hardware wallet isn't just smart, it's essential. If you're serious about crypto, it's time to stop relying on centralized exchanges or browser wallets. Click the link in the show notes to order your Ledger wallet and support this podcast at the same time.
Okay, so if you've been keeping an ear on the financial world lately, you cannot miss the big narrative right now: real-world asset tokenization. I mean, the forecasts are just huge. We're talking trillions.
Trillions, exactly. And it's not just talk. You've got major players, these huge institutions starting to really commit serious capital. It's definitely got momentum.
Yeah, and you can't ignore someone like Larry Fink, BlackRock CEO, basically saying tokenization is the future of markets.
That's a pretty heavyweight endorsement, wouldn't you say? It really sets the tone.
Absolutely. It anchors the whole institutional push. And look at their actions, not just words.
Right, the BUIDL fund. They launched it back in March 2024. And just a year later, March 2025, boom, over $1 billion in assets under management. First Wall Street fund like it to hit that mark.
And what's really key there, for you listening, is how it works. It offers daily yield, something like 4.5% APY right now, backed by safe stuff, short-term U.S. Treasuries.
So people get that daily payout, that yield, plus the on-chain 2047 liquidity benefit. Exactly. That combo is clearly in demand. But, and this is the crucial bit for our deep dive today, BUIDL delivers all that with rock-solid institutional-level compliance. No compromises there.
Okay, so that sets up our mission today. We need to unpack what RWA tokenization actually is. But maybe, more interestingly, we need to look at this inherent tension, this conflict between this institutional wave and the original ideals of open blockchain. And then we'll really dive into how one place Dubai is trying to crack that code, build a regulatory system that makes it work in the real world.
Turning that conflict into something functional, yeah.
All right, segment 1, let's define this thing and get into that conflict, that velvet rope, as you called it earlier.
Okay.
So basics first. RWA tokenization, what are we actually doing here?
Well, simply put, you're taking a real-world asset. Think real estate, gold, could be carbon credits, T-bills, you name it, and you're creating a digital representation of ownership for it on a distributed ledger, usually using smart contracts.
And a big sell is?
The promise is huge gains, really. More fractional ownership, you can buy a tiny piece of a building, better liquidity for things that are traditionally hard to sell quickly, and just more efficiency overall.
Sounds great on paper. Tech, making markets better. But this is exactly where that blockchain philosophy kind of crashes into Wall Street reality, isn't it?
It really is. The original vision, the ideal open blockchain, was built on some core pillars. 5 main ones, really.
Okay, lay them out for us.
First, it was meant to be open source. Code freely available, like on GitHub.
Got it.
Second, permissionless. This is key. No need for KYC, AML checks, no asking permission to join or transact.
Okay, keep going.
Third, borderless. Anyone, anywhere in the world could participate. Think Bitcoin in space, that kind of idea.
Right.
Fourth, censorship resistant. The idea that no central party can block your transaction. Although we've seen challenges there already, haven't we? Like with stablecoin freezes or the OFAC list, issues on Ethereum.
Yeah, and the fifth?
Neutral and publicly verifiable. The ledger itself is the source of truth, solving things like the double spending problem without needing a bank in the middle.
Okay, so that's the, let's say, the purest vision. Open, free, no gatekeepers.
The ethos, yeah.
But then BlackRock, or any big institution, wants to tokenize, say, a skyscraper.
Wow.
Something with real legal weight. That beautiful philosophy,
Yeah.
it hits a wall, right? Instantly.
Instantly. Let's walk through tokenizing real estate on a public chain step by step, and you'll see the clash.
Okay.
Step 1, you have to legally structure it. Usually that means setting up a special purpose vehicle, an SPV, to actually hold the property title and define the rights the token represents.
Standard legal stuff so far.
Right. But then, step 2, if you want to buy that token, it's mandatory KYC and AML. Know your customer, anti-money laundering. You have to go through a licensed platform.
Okay, so right there, gatekeeper. You need permission. You're uploading your passport, waiting for approval.
Exactly. And once you're approved, your specific crypto wallet address gets put on a whitelist. Only whitelisted addresses can even hold or trade this token.
So goodbye, permissionless pillar. You need explicit permission just to interact with this asset on this supposedly permissionless blockchain.
Completely negated, and you can't bypass it legally. International regulations demand it.
And it doesn't stop there, does it? What about selling your token later? Secondary market.
That's step 6. If you own, say, 0.1% of that building via a token and want to sell it, the smart contract itself enforces the rules. Your trade is only allowed if the buyer's wallet is also on that KYC verified whitelist.
So it's not borderless either. If the SPV rules say only U.S. investors or only accredited investors, the smart contract blocks sales to anyone else, anywhere else.
Precisely. It's restricted by jurisdiction, by investor status, all enforced on-chain.
So if we're doing mandatory KYC, whitelisting specific addresses, restricting who can trade based on geography, are we basically just putting a very fancy, very regulated velvet rope around a public blockchain?
That's a great way to put it.
And the big question then becomes, if you strip away permissionless, borderless, maybe even some censorship resistance, are you just using blockchain as a really, really complex and expensive database? Couldn't you just use, I don't know, Microsoft Excel?
That's the core contradiction everyone points to. The critics definitely argue that a restricted asset on a permission ledger, well, maybe a traditional database is more efficient.
But institutions are still piling in. Why?
2 reasons, mainly. First, the sheer scale of the potential market. We're talking insane numbers. And second, even with restrictions, DLT does offer advantages like near instant settlement and better transparency of ownership records compared to some creaky old legacy systems.
Let's talk numbers then. What are the projections?
They're staggering. Firms like Boston Consulting Group, Citi21.co, they're putting the potential market for all tokenized RWA somewhere between $16 trillion and maybe even $68 trillion by 2030.
16 to 68 trillion.
Yeah. And just for real estate tokenization alone, the forecasts are over $1.4 trillion by 2030.
Wow. And where are we now?
Right now. Estimates vary, but probably somewhere in the range of $7 billion to $20 billion tokenized globally. Tiny compared to the potential.
So it's a rounding error compared to the forecast. The institutions see that gap, They see the potential explosion, and they know they need a compliant way to play. That velvet rope needs to become, what, a fortress?
Exactly, a regulatory fortress. Which brings us nicely to Dubai.
Right. Segment 2, Dubai's approach.
Right.
Building that regulatory fortress, brick by digital brick.
Yeah, Dubai's effort here is really notable because it's strongly government-led. They're not just reacting, they're proactively building the framework.
And this started officially when?
The big move was in March 2025. The Dubai Land Department, the DLD, launched something called the Real Estate Tokenization Project, or REES.
REES, okay. And the goal?
Very ambitious. They want to tokenize about 60 billion AED worth of property. That's around 16 billion US dollars by 2033.
16 billion.
And the aim is for that to represent something like 7% of all real estate transactions in Dubai. That's significant volume.
Okay, so how do you regulate that? Who's in charge?
The main body is the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, VAR. They've created a specific category for these property-backed tokens, asset-referenced virtual assets, or ARVs.
And the RVs, catchy.
And if you want to actually issue these ARVs, you need a specific license from VAR, a Category 1 VA issuance VASP license. VASP standing for Virtual Asset Service Provider.
Okay, VASP license. Now, for you listening, this licensing part, this is where the theory meets the bureaucratic reality. It sounds tough.
Oh, it is. You should budget at least 6 to 12 months, probably more, just to get from concept to being fully licensed and operational. It's a serious undertaking.
And what does VAR actually demand? What immediately challenges those old blockchain ideals?
Well, first off, accountability. Forget operating anonymously from anywhere. To even apply, you must set up a proper local legal entity in the UAE, like a UAE LLC or a free zone company.
So real company on the ground.
And you need a physical private office space, no remote work from a laptop in some other country. VRA wants a local footprint, local substance. It feels very much like traditional financial regulation.
Interesting. Forcing that traditional structure onto a digital asset issuer. What about the people involved?
That's another key part. They mandate having at least 2 senior managers designated as responsible individuals who must be UAE residents or even nationals.
Ah, so ensuring local oversight and control within the company itself.
Exactly. It embeds accountability locally. And then there's the rulebook.
Rulebooks, plural.
Oh, yes. You have to comply with 4 compulsory VRA rulebooks just as a baseline. They cover company rules, compliance and risk management, technology and information security, and market conduct. And then you also have specific rulebooks for whatever activity you're licensed for, like issuance, running an exchange, or providing custody. It's incredibly comprehensive.
They're clearly not messing around. They're building this fortress to handle valuable, legally recognized assets like land titles. Makes sense, I guess.
It has to be robust to build confidence, especially institutional confidence.
And did they address that anonymity pillar directly, the idea of private transactions?
They did, very explicitly. VAR expressly bans the issuance or use of privacy-enhanced tokens. Think coins like Monero, Zcash, anything designed to obscure transaction details.
So no hiding allowed.
None. It's a perfect example of the trade-off. VAR is essentially saying, we like the efficiency of the ledger technology, but we will absolutely sacrifice the ideal of anonymity to ensure we have full regulatory visibility and security. Government oversight trumps permissionless privacy.
Okay, so that's the demanding regulatory environment. Let's move to segment 3 and see how this plays out in practice. What tech actually gets approved and used when you have these kinds of compliance demands?
Right. Let's look at a real-world case study. The prime example out of Dubai is Prepco Mint.
Prepco, they were the first ones licensed under this new VARA framework for real estate, right?
Yeah.
Launched May 2025.
That's them. The first fully licensed, VARA-compliant, tokenized real estate platform in the whole Minari region. This is the system in action.
And how did it work for investors? Was it accessible?
Very accessible, which was a key goal. During their pilot phase, the minimum investment was just 2,000 AED.
Okay. Pretty low barrier to entry for property.
Exactly. And significantly, all the transactions were done in UAE dirhams, the local fiat currency, handled through a partner bank, Zand Bank. So it tightly linked the digital token back to the traditional financial system. Initially, it was only open to UAE residents, mind you.
And the launch, was it successful?
Extremely. Their first property token sale sold out completely in just 24 hours.
Wow.
It pulled in 224 investors from 44 different nationalities. And here's a fascinating stat. 70% of those investors were first-time property investors.
70%. That really speaks to the fractionalization and accessibility angle, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And adding legitimacy, the Dubai Land Department actually issued the world's first official property token ownership certificate for that sale. It showed the whole sandbox process, DLD plus VARA, actually worked.
Okay, successful launch, regulatory approval. But what about the tech underneath Pripco? What ledger are they using?
This is where it gets technically interesting. They built it on the XRP ledger, or XRPL.
XRPL. Now, we need to be clear here. This isn't a standard blockchain like Bitcoin or Ethereum, is it?
That's a really crucial distinction, yeah. XOPL is a type of distributed ledger technology, a DLT. But it does not use the traditional blockchain structure, meaning no chain of blocks linked cryptographically, and importantly, no miners who get rewarded for processing transactions.
Okay, so if it's not blockchain with miners, how does it reach consensus? How does the ledger get updated reliably?
It uses a different consensus mechanism called the Ripple Protocol Consensus Algorithm, or RPCA.
RPCA. And who runs that?
The ledger state is maintained and updated by a specific, known set of participants called validators. There are around 203 of them currently. And crucially, these validators don't receive any XRP rewards for doing this job.
No block rewards. So it's less about decentralized economic incentives and more about
What?
what? Efficiency, control.
Primarily efficiency, speed, and a structure that's arguably easier to manage from a regulatory perspective. Because you have a known fixed set of validators, the network can confirm transactions very quickly, much faster finality than many proof-of-work blockchains. It's optimized for institutional use cases where speed and certainty are paramount.
So again, a trade-off, sacrificing some decentralization maybe for speed and a more controlled environment that regulators might prefer.
That seems to be the pattern, yes. And we see similar trade-offs when we look beyond Dubai at how institutions are trying to use Bitcoin's network, but not directly on the main layer. They're using layer 2 solutions.
You mean like the Liquid network?
Exactly. Liquid is probably the best-known example. Think of it as a sidecar or sidechain, built specifically for Bitcoin, tailored for financial institutions and active traders.
How does that work? You don't put the actual RWA token directly on Bitcoin's main chain?
No. Instead, you lock up actual Bitcoin, BTC, on the main Bitcoin network. Then, an equivalent amount of a different asset called Liquid Bitcoin, or LBTC, is issued on the Liquid sidechain. The RWA tokens would then live and trade on this Liquid sidechain alongside LBTC.
Okay, so it uses Bitcoin security indirectly. But is Liquid itself decentralized like Bitcoin?
No, and this is the key point again. Liquid is explicitly centralized. Its operation is controlled by a federation, a group of around 15 member organizations, mostly exchanges and financial institutions.
15 members controlling it. Why would institutions choose that over decentralized Bitcoin? Isn't decentralization the whole point?
For certain ideals, yes. But for institutional operations, that centralization becomes a feature, not a bug.
How?
Two main reasons: speed and privacy. Because the Federation controls block creation, Liquid can have very fast blocks like 1 minute per block and transaction finality within just 2 minutes. That's crucial for financial trading.
Much faster than Bitcoin's main chain.
Much faster. And second, Liquid enables confidential transactions. Meaning the amounts and even the types of assets being transferred on Liquid can be hidden from the public ledger. Only the parties involved in the transaction, and maybe the Federation members, can see the details.
Privacy. Banks and trading firms can't exactly broadcast all their positions and trades to the world, can they?
Absolutely not. That confidentiality is a non-negotiable requirement for most institutional activity. Bitcoin's public ledger doesn't offer that.
So the need for compliance, speed, and privacy drives adoption toward these more controlled, sometimes centralized layer 2s or specific DLTs.
Precisely. And you see companies leaning into this, like Tether with their Hadron initiative, is specifically looking to use Liquid, along with other Bitcoin scaling tech like RGB and Taproot assets, to facilitate RWA tokenization on Bitcoin layer 2s.
And it's not just them. We should probably briefly mention other big players in the RWA space globally.
Yeah, definitely. You have Securitize, who are arguably leaders. They've tokenized billions already across various asset classes. And Block Square is another interesting one, focused heavily on real estate tokenization, operating in nearly 30 countries now, though not yet licensed in the UAE specifically.
Okay, so the trend seems clear. Massive potential. But the path forward involves specialized, highly regulated platforms, often sacrificing pure decentralization for practical needs.
That's the reality on the ground.
All right, let's try to wrap this up. So what does this all mean? For you listening, trying to cut through the hype, what's the real takeaway here about RWA tokenization?
think the main takeaway is that the current wave of RWA tokenization, the one attracting billions in institutions, it isn't really the radical, borderless, down with the banks revolution that maybe some early crypto proponents envisioned.
It's more pragmatic.
Much more pragmatic. The reality unfolding now is dominated by highly regulated platforms, often using specific DLTs like XRPL or centralized Layer 2 solutions like Liquid. These systems are being chosen precisely because they prioritize compliance, speed for settlement, and the kind of security regulators demand. That often comes before the purest ideals of permissionless access.
The sheer size of the prize, those trillions in assets, necessitates playing by the existing financial world's rules, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can't tokenize regulated assets without involving regulators.
You simply can't. The assets themselves, property titles, securities, they carry inherent legal and regulatory baggage. You need the SPVs, the KYC, the licenses. Things like VAR demanding physical offices and resident managers just underscore that you can't completely escape traditional accountability structures, even with smart contracts.
Which brings us to a final thought, maybe something a bit provocative for you to chew on after this.
Yeah.
It's about that classic blockchain trilemma, right? The idea that you constantly have to trade off between scalability, decentralization, and security. You can't perfectly maximize all three.
Right, the trilemma.
It seems like for RWA tokenization, the solution that's winning, the one regulators like VARA are approving, is one that makes a very conscious choice in that trilemma.
And that choice is?
It seems to be sacrificing a significant degree of decentralization. By embracing DLTs with known validators or centralized sidechains run by federations, they're choosing to gain massive improvements in scalability, transaction speed, regulatory compliance, and ultimately institutional acceptance and security.
It's a pragmatic trade-off to unlock those trillions in value.
So the final question we leave you with is this. Is the future of tokenizing the world's assets inevitably a regulated departure from the original permissionless ideals of Satoshi Nakamoto? And if so, what does that mean for the next evolution of finance and blockchain technology? Something to think about.